Hello everyone and welcome to SomeDudePlays Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is going to be our first lore video here in the library. So I'll be reading everything out to you. I'll start here with the Traveler's Journal, just zoom out a bit. A record consisting largely of the world outside Foldland. The author's identity is unknown, but they have clearly experienced these places firsthand. So this one will tell you kind of all the different locations, so Almira, a great kingdom to the east of Foldland. Its territory borders that of the Leicester Alliance. The precipitous mountain... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, that's a bit hard. Mountain range known as Foldland's Throat, acting as the dividing line. Its people maintain a strong legacy of horsemanship and relish in the thrill of battle. This vast kingdom is rich in fertile prairies, deserts, and mountain ranges. Albania, a continent to the northwest of Foldland. Its frigid climate is home to numerous rare and valuable species of flora and fauna. However, the human population there is extremely small due to the intense cold and frozen earth, which is unsuited for growing grains or other food crops. Morphus is the name of a metropolis of magic to the southeast of Foldland, as well as the boundless desert that surrounds it. In the distant past, it was called the City of Illusions, thanks to an intricate web of trading routes. Rumors of its profound and mysterious magic continue to spread. Dagda, a continent to the southwest of Foldland. Due to its extreme distance from the Foldland, rumors of this relatively unknown world abound. Some claim it's a tropical rainforest, while others insist it's merely a giant frozen plateau. In truth, this vast continent stretches far into the north and south and supports a wide variety of terrain and climates. So, Journal Issue 1. Yeah, right here we have a series of books that's missing 2 at the moment, so...
What the?
Yeah, now to Travelogue 2. A record consisting largely of the world outside Foldland. The author's identity is unknown, but just a repeat of the first one. Now, Brigid, an archipelago nested between Foldland and Dagda, is a land of plenty that is often heralded as the perfect union of the gentle sea and nature's bounty. Both Foldland and Dagda have long vied to claim this territory as their own. Shreng. Shreng was once the name of an enormous peninsula to the north of Foldland. Today, only the northern half has kept the moniker, while the southern half now falls under the dominion of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Several warlike clans call this great wasteland their home. Certain areas of this region are comprised of rocky desert. I'm thinking you're eventually going to get to everyone here, so that's interesting. Dusker, a peninsula to the north of Foldland and the west of Shreng. The people who once inhabited this area were decimated and now falls under the dominion of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. The land boasts nothing noteworthy to make it a desirable travel destination, but rumors of valuable minerals waiting to be unearthed abound. And finally, Ogma Mountains. An enormous mountain range somewhere south of central Foldland. To the west it forms the border between the Empire and the Kingdom, surrounded Garreg Mach, and cutting across Empire territory. It is home to many animals and plants that cannot be found elsewhere, as well as a plethora of valuable mineral deposits. Yeah, a lot of talking, so I need to take a drink every now and then. And now we get into some more history here. Right here, the history of Foldland, Part 1. Under the tyranny of ruthless disorder, the people endured a long period of suffering. The vile nemesis who proclaimed himself King of Liberation delighted in war and bloodshed. Rather than rebelling against his persecution, the people of Foldland fell to his deaths in a mad scramble to obtain power through murder and theft. 41 years before the founding of the Adrestian Empire, Saint Syros appeared in the land of Enbar and, through the many unfathomable miracles she performed, spread light across the land. In doing so, she joined the shattered hearts of the purest people of Fódlan, who went to form the Holy Church of Seiros. Imperial Year 1, the founding of the Adrestian Empire. In the first year of our calendar, the glorious Adrestian Empire was founded. Its name was gifted by an oracle, and its future blessed by the goddess. Its capital, Enbar, was chosen to govern the southern reaches of Fódlan, where the divine Saint Seiros also lent her power. Year 32, the War of Heroes. Wilhelm Podreslik, the inaugural Adrestian Emperor, raised an army in pursuit of the unification of Fódlan. With his might, he hunted and destroyed any house's territory that dared seek more power. An intense Year 46, the Battle of Grandor. An intense battle erupted on Grandor Field, where the houses that were allied with Nemesis and the imperial forces of the Adrestian Empire clashed. There, the imperial forces emerged victorious. Year 91, the Battle of Tailtean. The houses that were allied with Nemesis once again faced off against the imperial forces, this time at the Tailtean Plains. There, the evil Nemesis finally fell and the Empire secured a momentous victory. Year 98, the War of Heroes ends. The successor to the Grey Emperor, Wilhelm I, Lycone I, succumbed to sudden illness. The Empire, which ruled the majority of Fódlan, took this opportunity to put to a seamless end fight. I'll repeat that. The Empire, which ruled over the majority of Fódlan, took this opportunity to put an end to the seemingly endless fighting. Okay, now on to the next one. Go ahead and take a drink here. Okay, Imperial Year 721, the First Mock War. The Dagdan army invaded from across the sea through the Imperial forces. Though the Imperial forces resisted the attack and drove off the enemy, the land of Mock sustained considerable damage. 728, the invasion of Brigid. The Empire invaded the Brigid archipelago, land-occupied allies of Daga. As penance for the refusal to surrender, the people of Brigid were relegated to a life of imperial subjugation. The invasion of Dagda in 731. With the boon of a strong foothold in Brigid, the Empire mounted a large-scale invasion of Dagda. However, the fortunes of war were not on their side and their attack failed. 747, the Fergus Rebellion. Lug, a descendant of one of the houses that first quarreled with the Empire, raised an army to demand independence, pulling the land of Fergus into a fierce rebellion. This clash came to be known as the War of the Eagle and the Lion. The founding in 751, the founding of the Holy Kingdom of Fergus. Lug and his resistant army were victorious over the imperial forces. The Holy Church of Seiros mediated between the two, and Fergus secured his hard-won independence as the elite Holy Kingdom of... Okay, I'm just going to repeat that. And Fergus secured his hard-won independence as the Holy Kingdom of Fergus. Year 801, the Leicester Rebellion. A rebellion broke up in the imperial lands of Leicester, which the imperial army was unable to suppress. The Holy Kingdom, viewing the uprising as an opportunity to increase its own political sway, occupied the Leicester region, formally declared it as the territory of Fergus. Year 861, Fergus divided. Following the death of King Claus I, 3 princes became archdukes and split the Holy Kingdom of Fergus, that they may rule over it as 3 separate territories. 881, the Crescent Moon War. The Archduke ruling over the Leicester region of the kingdom succumbed to illness. The lords of Leicester lands refused to acknowledge the next Archduke in line, instead plotting to rule jointly as an alliance. 901, the founding of the Leicester Alliance. The Leicester Alliance was officially formed after the subjugation of hostile nobles and the removal of all opposing forces in the regions of Fergus. An influential figure from the outside, Duke Reagan was inarguably the heart of the newly formed alliance. Year 961, the Almerian invasion. The great eastern nation of Almere crossed through Poland's throat and invaded Alliance territory. The Empire dispatched troops in order to help conquer this threat, and the attackers were just barely driven off. Year 1101, the construction of Poland's Locket. To defend against future Almerian invasions, the Alliance, the Kingdom, and the Empire joined their efforts and resources to construct the indomitable fort known as Poland's Locket. And that's done. Yep. Going to go over here. I'm trying to read them in much chronological order as I can. Kind of hard with all this talking. The Book of Saros, Part 1. The Revelation. The goddess is all things. She is heaven above and the land below. She is eternally incarnate. She is the present, the past, and the future. Her eyes see all, her ears hear all, her hands receive all. She who was graced with the holy word of the divine goddess, who bore witness to her magnificence, is the one called Saros. She is the messenger in the heavens, the bridge between the lands above and below, and her blessings shall bring tidings of peace to all. With the goddess's omnipotence and wisdom to guide her, Saros ensures that her will be done. As the goddess's source, Saros roars away evil. As the goddess's child, Saros makes emperors and mortals. As the goddess's wings, Saros elevates people. As the goddess's voice, Saros spreads the word of love. The sublime sword is entrusted to you, those emperors are crowned before you, those wings clear your path, that voice whispers word of trust. May the blessings of the goddess follow you always. Yeah, kind of getting into the main,
Hey there.
Yeah, the main Bible kind of thing here. The creation. In the beginning, amid the great cloudless ocean, Poland came to be. At the end of a long journey, the goddess glimpsed that land and there alighted. Upon the sacred ground she breathed life into the world and created all the creatures upon it. By the goddess's hand, plants take root, birds took to the sky, and animals roamed the land. Last of all, she created humanity. When the humans wished for power, she granted it. She gifted them the blessings of the heavens and of the earth. By way of the magical arts, humanity attained great power, yet unaware that great power portends great evil. By the grace of the goddess's divine protection, humanity thrived. Through her blessings, they grew prosperous, and their numbers rose. Before long, they became the most powerful creatures in all of Poland. All was well until darkness descended from the north. A darkness that devoured the earth, desecrated the heavens, and threw the world and its inhabitants into a state of chaos. To face this evil first, the goddess created a new well of power. She gifted certain individuals with sacred blood, allowed them to wield mystical weapons, that they may prevail against the darkness. These souls, buoyed by their divine gifts, conquered the evil ones and drove them back to the north. They became known as heroes. The heroes' experienced and naturally long lives persisted for hundreds of years. Even after they breathed their last, the power coursing through their blood remained, leaving an incredible mark upon this world. This power passed through bloodlines, came to be known as the crest. The mystical weapon they once wielded are now called heroes' relics, and so the legend of the New Age was born. The descendants of their heroes sought their ancestors' power, and thusly their blood. In time they amassed crests, relics, land, and wealth, using all to set the land aflame with war. The goddess's power, intended to stem the flow of evil, became a tool of destruction, all because of the greed of humanity. The goddess, grave and heartbroken, hid herself in the heavens from whence she came. Now, Book 3 and 4 are missing. I'm going to save Book 5 for later. Actually, you know what, I'll just read it here and get rid of it. The 5 Internal Commandments. Dare not doubt or deny the power or existence of the goddess, kind of rude, and don't speak it in vain. Dare not disrespect your father, mother, or any who serve the goddess. Dare not abuse the power gifted to you by the goddess. Dare not kill, harm, lie, or steal unless such acts are committed by the will of the goddess. The goddess cares for and protects all that is beautiful in the world. The goddess will never deny the splendors of love, affection, joy, peace, faith, kindness, temperance, modesty, or patience. Follow her example in doing so and abide her laws. Yep.
Well.
And now, Register of Empire Nobles, Part 1. A register of prominent noble houses in the Adrestian Empire. This document is expressly for official use by the Church of Seros. Students are forbidden to remove or peruse this document. 1179 edition. House Rustvig. The most distinguished noble house of the Empire, tracing its roots all the way back to the great Emperor Wilhelm. It has been the government house for the Empire for 1,100 years. In addition to the first emperor, its lineage is also traced back to Saint Seros herself, which is why generation of emperors are believed to bear the crest of Seros. Her house Hesflake resides in Anbar, the imperial capital, claiming all of the surrounding territory as its domain. It boasts supreme authority both within the empire and without until the insurrection of the Seven in 1171, in which much of its power was stripped away by the nobility. In recent years, a series of misfortunes have plagued the storied house. Some believe dark clouds hover over the future of the Hesflake reign. House Ager. A house of dukes possessing great power within the Empire, second only to House Hesflake. The head of house came to occupy the post of Prime Minister, rendering the title a hereditary one thereafter. House Ager led the insurrection of the Seven and in many ways holds the true power of governing the Empire. House Vestra. A house of marquises without a domain, existing in the shadow of House Hesflake. In addition to managing the darker task of the Empire, it is responsible for the Emperor's periphery affairs, including coordinating things such as ceremonies and rituals, imperial consorts, and the Imperial Guard. House Vestra was allied with House Ager in the insurrection. House Herling. A house of counts that has inherited rule over the Empire's domestic affairs, particularly those related to administration, finance, and judiciary. It frequently clashes with the Minister of Military Affairs over these matters. Much of its territory lies in the Ogma Mountains, and as such, it enjoys the fruits of a lucrative mining industry. House Bergeliz. A house of counts that has inherited rule over the Empire's Ministry of Military Affairs. It commands all of the armies that do not directly belong to the Emperor. During times of war, the head of the house becomes the Imperial Army's commander-in-chief. Their territory encompasses most of the Empire's main breadbasket, Grandeur Field. House Varley. A house of counts that has inherited rule over the Empire's Ministry of Religion, whose main responsibility is to maintain amicable relationships with the Church of Seros. However, due to the estrangement of the Church from the Empire in recent years, it is now more involved with the judiciary, causing political strife within the Ministry of the Interior. I have to take a little break from talking. Yeah. Same thing. House Kurth. A house of dukes that has inherited rule over the Empire's Ministry of the Exterior, diplomacy, foreign relations, and relations between various provinces and the capital fall under its purview. It worked hard to secure the ceasefires that ended both the Brigid and Dagda campaigns. Though complicit in the insurrection, it remains distant from associated houses. House Arundel. Formerly a minor noble house of the Empire, as head of the house when Volkard's younger sister became betrothed to Emperor Ionis 9th, Volkard was granted the title Lord Arundel. Having worked closely with House Aegir, House Arundel is seen as one of the chief instigators of the Insurrection of the Seven. House Shrim, a house of Imperial Viscounts. Resistant Emperor Ionis IX's policy of power centralization, it set out to join the alliance and secure independence from the Empire, but was unable to overcome the Imperial Army's intervention. In the aftermath, the house's main genetic line was wiped out. Its current head of house is empty. House Neuville, a house of Imperial Viscounts with the territory on the western coast of the Empire, centered around its namesake harbor city of Neuville. The house flourished thanks to commerce with Dagda, Albania, Brigid, and other territories. Even still, it fell to ruin in 1175 after permitted the combined invaded forces of Dagda and Brigid armies to make landfall. House Aux, a house of Imperial Barons. Its territory occupies the northern half of the western peninsula known as Fodlan's Fanes. The head of house was lost to the Dagda and Brigid War. Bartels, a house of Imperial Barons ambitious, it sought out and acquired several crests for its bloodline. In 1176, many members, including the head of house, died under unexplained circumstances. The deed was attributed to the Herr Emil, as his whereabouts are unknown. Leadership of the house fell to a distant relative. Here's a register of alliance. House Regan, the leading house of the Leicester Alliance and descendants of one of the 10 elites. In the Crescent Moon War of 881, they spearheaded the move towards independence from the kingdom, as well as the establishment of the Republic by its former vassals. They have held an esteemed responsibility of leading the Alliance Round Table ever since. The position of this House of Dukes relies on the noble rank bestowed upon it by the kingdom well before the Alliance was founded. The current Duke Regan's heir Godfrey died in an accident while on duty. While he did leave behind a surviving daughter, she is presently unaccounted. House Goneril, descendants of one of the 10 elites, is a military house that is chiefly tasked with military strikes and defense against the Almerian army, mostly due to its territory's position in the east. Lord Holst, the next head of the house, is widely renowned as the Alliance's bravest general. House Ordelia, a house of counts with lands in the east of the Leicester territory. In 1167, it was involved in House Shrim's rebellion, and the Empire retaliated by repeatedly meddling in the house's internal affairs, leading to a sharp decline in its noble stand. House Gloucester, descendants of one of the 10 elites, this house of counts hails from the southern Leicester territory. The current head of house is ambitious, excels at public relations, and has an influential voice among the 5 noble families, with voting rights at the Leicester Alliance Round Table, second only to House Regan. House Edmund, a house of Margraines with land in the north of the Leicester territory. Its beneficial trade policies and emphasizing fair use of its personal harbors have awarded the house a great deal of clout, to such a degree that it was eventually accepted into the ranks of the 5 great lords of the Alliance. Their current house is a renowned orator. House Daphne, descendants of one of the 10 elites and formerly among the 5 great lords of the Alliance, it lost much power due to internal discord. For the last several generations, no head of House Daphne has borne a crest. In spite of this, it still maintains its status as a noble family. Now for Fergus. House Blighted. The house claims Blighted of the 10 elites as its ancestor. It has ruled the kingdom for over 400 years, ever since Luke, the King of Lions, claimed victory in the War of the Eagle and Lion in 751. This secured the kingdom's independence from the Andressian Empire, after which Luke was crowned as its inaugural king by the Church of Saros. House Bladed resides in Ferdiad, the kingdom capital, claiming all of the surrounding territory as its domain, and many of the fiefdoms in the north of Poland as its vassals. With the passing of King Lambert in 1176, his older brother, Grand Duke Rufus of Itha, assumed the burden of ruling the kingdom in the young crown prince's stead. Even still, strife and disorder continue to plague the land. House Fraldarius. A house of dukes claims Fraldarius of the Ten Elites as its ancestor. It is one of the most ancient houses of records, even amongst the kingdom nobility. It is said that Kaifan, the sworn friend of Luke, the king of lions, is also related to House Fraldarius. House Gautier. A house of Margraines claims Gautier of the Ten Elites as its ancestor. Its territory lies in the northernmost reaches of the kingdom. As such, it has safeguarded kingdom territory against incursions by the people of Shrang region for over 200 years. House Charon. The House of Counts claims Charon of the Ten Elites as its ancestor. Tasked with negotiation between the resistant armies and the Church of Saros during the War of the Eagle and the Lion, the head of House Charon continues the tradition of a ceremonial competition within the kingdom. House Galatea. When House Daphnel, once a cornerstone of the Leicester Alliance, was divided into over an inheritance feud, half of them defected and established House Galatea, which was granted the noble title of Count. Much of its territory consists of frigid wasteland where a severe famine occurred in the early 1170s. House Rowe. A noble house that once held territory in the Northern Empire. When the fortress city of Arenhard was constructed within its domain, it revolted against the Empire and pledged the entirety of its territory, including Aran, to the Holy Kingdom of Fergus. For this contribution, it was awarded the noble title of Count. House Clayman. This house originally held no more than a lordship over a single castle in the west of the kingdom, but it was awarded the noble title of Viscount for its great success in the subjugation of the Dusker region in 1176. Afterwards, it was granted the Dusker region as its feudal state. Almost done, almost done. Oh, thank God. Okay, all those library books are done. So, I'm going to end the video here. I'm still going to do these lore videos, but I'd like to learn more, so please comment of what you think. And especially if you want to figure out which is the best time for you. I'm wondering if it's 30 minutes is good, 15 minutes is good, anywhere between them, so I would like to get your feedback on that. Otherwise, if you like this video, hit the like button. You want to see more, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you know when I set out more videos. Anyways, please visit SomeDudePlays.com as well. This is Zach, saying goodbye and have a great day.